Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, happy January 6th, 2026. It is a few minutes to 5 p.m. Central Time here, and it's Diego for our live stream with more information on K1 visas, green cards, etc. If you want to join me, you're welcome. Normally, I do a live stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, but sometimes I'll throw in a surprise live stream just to keep you on your toes and to give you something to do. If you are bored at home, if you want me to help you with your green card, your K1 visa, if you want me to help you lift the conditions off your 2-year green card, if you want me to help you fill out all the paperwork, let me know. I'm here to help you. That's why I've got 13 years experience doing this, okay? It's easy for me, and I try to make it as easy for you as possible also. I try to make it easy for you to understand the process. USCIS have their descriptions on their websites on how to do certain things, and it could be sometimes a little confusing, so I'm unconfusing it so you understand what's going on. I'm not an immigration attorney. I don't give you legal advice. I don't work for USCIS, but I've been doing this for 13 years. I've helped so many people get their green cards and get their K1 visas approved, but you got to qualify for the benefit. And this channel basically has videos that I've made that details every single possible scenario that you could possibly encounter, okay, going through the K1 visa or the green card process. Lifting conditions off of your green card, you must do it 90 days before your 2-year green card expires. Filing for your 10-year green card to renew it. Once you get your 10-year green card, then you're going to renew your 10-year green card. You want to do it 6 months before your 10-year green card expires. Don't be surprised now if you're going to be given an interview for your 10-year green card or your 2-year green card. It's going to be mandatory interviews face-to-face with a consular officer. Don't be scared. Don't be panicked. You qualify for the benefit. It's just going to be another routine thing that you have to do to get this all figured out and wrapped up. And then you get your green card. And then you keep collecting the evidence, and then you keep filing for new green cards after your green card expires. When you file for the 10-year green card from a 2-year green card, remember you're doing it as a couple jointly using Form I-751. If you have a child that came into the United States with you at the same time, you can include the child on the 751. And no, you don't have to have a medical exam for the 10-year green card. But you do have to repeat the medical exam for the 2-year green card. If you want me to help you with, the basic process of what to do when you arrive in the United States, I can do that. The plane lands. I got this right here, this Boeing 747. This is kind of like the plane that Karina and I flew in to Miami on from Bogota, Colombia. Now, my wife is my beautiful wife. She's from Caracas, Venezuela. So her former country is going through a political upheaval right now. And hopefully they get everything squared away and they become a free country where the embassy can open up, the U.S. embassy can reopen in Caracas, and then they can start adjudicating green cards and K1 visas there, which will be nice, right? That means the Venezuelans don't have to fly to Colombia and spend money on plane tickets and hotels, et cetera, et cetera. They can get it done in their home country, which is the way it should be done. And, it is what it is. The world is not a friendly place to be. There's wars all over the place. And when there's a war in a country, then there's difficulties with green cards and K1 visas. If you're in Ukraine, if you're in Russia, engaged to an American, you obviously are getting frustrated, so you're going to go to the U.S. Embassy in Warsaw, Poland, or somewhere else, So let's hope we can get some world peace in 2026. We'll see what happens. Hopefully that's the case, and then that way all the embassies can reopen again in those countries that are in war-torn districts. It's not fun. The K1 visa process is not going to go as fast as you want it to, but it's going to be faster than it was, if you can understand what I'm saying. And if you are from one of those countries that is on a blocked or pause status, that's because of executive orders that has overridden the Congress. For now, it's only temporary. So try to relax and try to stay calm and understand that executive orders come and go, just like the seasons in the United States. Okay? The president controls the narrative when it comes to immigration, but actually it's the Congress that writes the laws. So blocking somebody from, let's say, Venezuela from coming to the United States who've been properly vetted, they've been properly screened, it doesn't make any sense. But you just got to wait out. In November of this year, there's going to be midterm elections. So let's see what happens at the elections. And then the Republicans may not be in office running the show in 2027 if they keep on going after legal permanent residents, right? Can't do that. It's great to be here. Karina's in her English class, and she's back to working her normal day schedule now. So she's not dragging her feet trying to keep her eyelids open for a live stream. She's in English class from 4:30, I think it started, till 8 o'clock tonight, 8:15. And then I'll go pick her up and bring her home, get some dinner, and then get her ready for nights for ready tomorrow when she goes to her day job. We are here to help you. The YouTube channel is for you. It's not for us. I already know how to do this. I've been through this process, okay? And I know I've been doing this for 13 years now, helping so many people. So if you want me to help you, that's why I'm here. If you don't think the channel is being beneficial to you, then don't watch it. Go watch another channel. I mean, that's fine. But I've got all this knowledge in my head, and I'm grateful that I have all this knowledge that I can give it to you for free. Unless you're a member, if you're a paid member of the channel, that's different. Then you have my phone number and my email address. And the only reason I charge for the membership isn't because I want the money. It's because I need to know who's got the phone number and the email address, because those two are tied into this YouTube channel. That's it. That's the only reason. Okay? But there's going to be a day if the people don't find the channel interesting, if you find it boring, or if you don't participate, or if you find it's not relevant anymore, then there's no reason for me to keep going on with it, and I can do something else with my time. I'll go and put another YouTube channel together for something that people may be actually interested in, and just leave this one up and running with all the videos that I've made so people can watch it if they want to. And if they don't want to watch it, that's fine with me. I really am not worried about it. My wife is here, and in April, we're going to file for her 10-year green card. And if USCIS give us any grief, if they give me a hard time, then I'll take them to federal court and force them to adjudicate her green card. You can't be jacking around with people when they've made it through this process this far legally, and they've met all the benefits and the requirements and the qualifications. It just irritates the living daylights out of me when somebody decides they don't like a particular country and they want to put them on some kind of a block or a freeze or a hold. I mean, I don't see where the Congress put that into law. And the Congress runs immigration, so let's see what happens. Me personally, I'm not worried about it. I've got some good immigration attorneys. Now, you don't need an immigration attorney to file for a green card or a 2-year or 10-year green card or a K-1. You don't. The paperwork's easy. You just got to know what you're doing. And if you've listened to my videos, you will learn how to do it for free. But if they jack around with my family at USCIS for no reason other than she was born in Venezuela, there's going to be issues, and I'm going to be filing lawsuits against them. Right now, there's a class action lawsuit that's just been filed against USCIS for almost 200 green card holders who are being jacked around also, when there's no reason for them to be in that position. You know, you pay the visa fees, you go to the interviews at the embassies, you go to the interviews for your 2-year green card, you do the paperwork, immigration has all the documentation they need to verify you, and so there is absolutely no reason to be messing with people who are in this country already on green cards. And if they want to play that game, then the members of Congress that support it are not going to have a very good day come election this year. Remember, we have elections every 2 years for members of Congress. We have elections every 6 years for the U.S. Senate, and we have elections every 4 years for the presidency. Trump's not going to be reelected. He's on his last tour. So whatever he does in his term will, good. If it's good, hopefully it stays in place. And if it's bad, it will be undone by the next president or the next Congress. Well, that's how it works. That's how this nation works. We're a constitutional republic. Constitutional republic means you are represented by somebody in Congress, depending on the population of the state where you live. I live in Florida with Karina. It's a big state. It's got a big population, so we got lots of members of Congress. If you live in a small state, perhaps like Vermont or, I don't know, Rhode Island is a small state, you're only going to have a small population and you're only going to have a few members of Congress representing you because it's based on population size. Okay? California is having a big drain of people right now. Everybody is looking to leave California. Either they're being kicked out of the country because they're illegal, or they're leaving because of the insane taxes that are going to try. And New York too. Fazek, hi, any inclination how long this holding status will last? March 2nd of 2026 will be the 90 days when it's supposed to end, on March 2nd, 2026. That's when it ends. It's a 90-day hold. Okay, it started December 2nd. So if you do the math, March 2nd of 2026 is when it's supposed to end. If it doesn't end on March 2nd, if they extend it, there's going to be more lawsuits against USCIS, and it's going to be more difficult for Republicans to remain in power this year, come election day, because American citizens like myself do not like to be jacked around by members of Congress or USCIS for no reason. Now, if you're in this country illegally, that's a different story. If you're here illegally, then you need to go home. But if you were paroled into this country legally by the U.S. Border Patrol, and you were given an I-94, and you've done all the paperwork, and you've got a 2-year green card, and you've been vetted, there should be no reason at all why that process will not continue. And if immigration decides to mess with it, and they want to play this game, members of Congress will be put in place that will stop them from playing this insane game with people's families. Cornell Rivers, hello, Cornell. What's going on? How is everything? What's going on? How's Fazak? How's everybody? How's everybody's family? Today is what? Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. That's right. Tuesday, January 6th, 2026. Fazak. Okay, we had our interview for 2-year green card. Approved, pending background check, so shouldn't expect a response till March or April. Which country, Fazak, are we talking about? Tell me the country, and if you had an approval at the green card interview, tell me which country. I can't remember. I should remember, but I try to remember everybody's country, but it's hard sometimes. Cornell, everybody's doing well. That's good. Karina's in her English class right now. And so I will go and pick her up around 8 o'clock tonight and bring her home. And then tomorrow she's back on her day shift for the day job. So she's not in, working the graveyard shift. That will start again in probably November of 2026. April 2nd, April 3rd, we're going to go ahead and file for Karina's 10-year green card. And in May, we're going to go on vacation. Fazak, we are past that. My wife is here. Adjustment of K1 to K. Okay, but what? Yeah, she's got her. You went to the green card interview, right? Your wife is here, and she went to the green card interview. You adjusted from K1 to 2-year green card. You went to the green card interview, and you're waiting on a background check. That's right. She's from Burma. That's correct. I remember now. So now you're just going to wait on the background check to get completed. Then that's it. It shouldn't take but probably 4 weeks. I would say. She already was screened coming to the United States. Where did she have her Where did she have her K1 visa interview? Did she have her K1 visa interview in Burma, or did she have it in another country? I'm trying to remember. but she'll be okay. She'll get her green card, and then it's been 7 weeks. That's why we're asking. So she had her, you had the 2-year green card interview in Atlanta, Georgia. But where did she have her K-1 visa interview? Did she have it in Burma for the K-1 visa interview? The scary visa interview. Was it in Burma? Or was it in another country? You should be okay. It's been 7 weeks. It's going to take a while to do a background check. So Burma, the U.S. Embassy in Burma. Okay. So she was screened by the consulate in Burma. Did she get a police certificate from Burma? She probably did. She was screened by the security forces in Burma. Now she just did the biometrics in the United States, and you went to the green card. Now she's just waiting on the FBI background check. And they're going to probably do some background screening for her in Burma. So give it another couple of weeks, but she'll be okay. And if after, let's say, 3 months you haven't heard, then you need to be in touch with USCIS, and you need to be saying, hey, what's going on? You could set an appointment at the USCIS office in Atlanta, Georgia, and go there face to face and ask him for a status check on your wife's green card. Go face to face. Okay? Remember, this administration is not pro-immigrant, okay? They're saying they want to make America great again. Well, that's great. We support that. Karina and I want to see America great again. But this country was built around immigrants, okay? So, and President Trump's wife is an immigrant who was a green card holder who became a U.S. citizen. So, hypocrites are flying like pigs. FASAC, everything approved pending background. And that's usual. Yeah, you're fine. Don't worry about it. Just wait. Now you just got to wait, play the waiting game. Waiting and waiting and waiting. Right? That's it. Just like Karina. But March 2nd is when USCIS is supposed to lift the hold and the block on those countries. March 2nd. If you are in a paused country, okay, that means K-1 visas are still getting adjudicated and approved, and spousal visas. But what's happening is, if you're from a paused country, then you're not going to be getting a student visa. You're not going to be getting, one of these other visas that are out there. So, FASAC, figure, holidays, etc. Wasn't sure if we're on hold with everyone else. I don't think Burma's on that list of countries. I don't recall their name being on there. Beloved, let me see, we Belem. Beloved, we Belem. I'm trying to get your name right there. Don't attack me if I mess it up. Coming to the USA to get married to my fiance. My K-1 visa is at the Department of State, the NVC, since the 5th of December. From Lagos, Nigeria, just waiting. I believe Nigeria is on the list. So you're going to come to the United States to get married. Very good. Your beloved E-K-W-E Bellum. Beloved Equibellum. How about that? Is that better? So you're going to come to the United States from Nigeria. The K-1 visa is at the Department of State. So it's at the NVC since the 5th of December. So basically, they're waiting for the hold to be lifted. Okay. So the NVC is going to hold on to your approved K-1 visa until until March 2nd, probably around March 2nd. So in March is when they're going to start sending out those visas, assuming Trump doesn't change anything else. Okay. So, but every time Trump starts to interfere with family reunification of American citizens, then that hurts his party. Now, I'm not Republican. I'm not Democrat. I'm independent. I don't belong to any political party. I support the person that's going to follow constitutional governance. Okay. But what Trump is going to do is going to hurt the Republican Party, because American citizens are the ones who are getting hurt, not just the immigrants. And those people vote. Maybe they never voted before in their life. Now they're going to say, wait a second, we got to stop this nonsense. And they're going to go vote for the first time. Fazak, Burma was in an original cutback list, but she's here already. Okay, there you go. No problem. You just got to wait the background check. And thanks, I got the name correct. Beloved Equibellum. And then there's an E on the end. Man, that's a difficult. You got it though, right? I got it right. The K1 visa process is easy to do. It's an easy form to fill out, I-129F. But the secret is you got to have a real bona fide relationship with a lot of evidence in the relationship. Filing for a 2-year green card is easy to do, but you got to have a ton of evidence. And then when you file for the 10-year green card, you got to have 2 years worth of evidence. And then you got to go back to when you first started dating each other. So when you get ready to file for a 10-year green card, you need to include pictures from when you first started dating each other. Okay? When you got married, when you went on the honeymoon, and then what did you do for the next 2 years before you filed for the 10-year green card? Now, Karina and I, we are going on vacation in May for a week. And when we're on vacation, I'm going to make videos of every place where we're at, and I'll put them in the members only video section so the members can watch the videos of our vacation. If you're a member of this channel, you're going to get to see the videos of our vacation. But because we're filing for Karina's 10-year green card in April, we're going on vacation in May. I've already purchased the plane tickets. I've already reserved the trips and everything, and I've paid for everything now. And I printed all that evidence, and I put it in her 10-year green card application. Even though the vacation will be after we file for the 10-year green card, we have evidence that we've already paid and booked the hotel, and everything's already done. Do you see what I'm saying? So when immigration starts to adjudicate Karina's 10-year green card, they're going to see that we filed in April, but the vacation was for May, but they're going to see the evidence that we already paid for the trip. My name's on the plane tickets. Karina's name's on the plane tickets, on the booking paperwork. All that data goes into her 10-year green card application. Though I've only got about this much room left, probably, for the binders like this. I got to squeeze everything in there. Beloved, how I wish you and your wife can visit Lagos for your vacation. Lagos is a beautiful place. I'm sure it is. When Karina becomes a U.S. citizen, when she's a citizen of this country, the United States of America, okay, she will then apply for her U.S. passport, and then we can travel to places like Lagos. And we can go, hopefully we'll be able to fly to Venezuela to go see her mom and dad and sisters and brothers and nephews and nieces, okay? But while you're in this country on a 2-year green card, if you do not leave this country, don't go on vacation. Don't take it, especially if you're on one of those paused or blocked countries. The Border Patrol would love to jack you around when you try to come back to the United States. Okay, so if you're in this country, I don't care what country you're from, on a 2-year green card, don't go anywhere except vacation inside the United States. You can travel domestically. Make sure you have a real ID, though. If you don't have a real ID, then you're going to have issues at the airport trying to check in with the TSA folks. The TSA will give you a freaking hard time if you don't have a real ID. So if you're a 2-year green card holder, and now Karina, she has her Florida driver's license, okay? She's got her Florida driver's license, which means it's a real ID. But when we travel on vacation in May, we're going to bring our marriage certificate with us, our last 2 tax returns, a couple of bills that she's on and I'm on. So just in case that she gets jacked around by TSA at the airport, we're going to have all this. Her green card's still good. Hopefully by then we should have the letter of extension for 48 months, and we will have evidence of our relationship. Okay? You got to, and make sure when you travel anywhere, I don't care if you're going to Walmart or Publix or Kmart or Piggly Wiggly, if you're running to the store to pick up some supplies, make sure you have your green card with you if you're the beneficiary. Okay, wherever you go, you got to carry your green card. You just don't take the risk. There was a guy walking down the street in New York City. I can't remember what country he was from, but he was stopped by ICE. Immigration and Customs Enforcement stopped him, said, "Hey, we need to see your documentation." And I guess, I don't know, he didn't have his green card. He had his driver's license, but he didn't have his green card on him. He got fined like $200, I think, something like that. He got fined a lot of money because he didn't have his green card on him. And they documented in their ICE computer that he was not carrying his green card. That went into his immigration record. So it's going to make it harder for him to become a U.S. citizen because he was now hit with a misdemeanor fine for not carrying his green card. We're in very strict times right now, okay? So don't give those folks out there looking to, reach a quota, don't give them a reason. Don't give them a reason. Carry your green card. If you're traveling on vacation inside the United States with your green card with you and your driver's license or passport, bring documents with you that show you are happily married to your American citizen sponsor. Bring your marriage certificate with you. Bring your last tax return. Copies of any bills. Pay attention to me, class. You gotta trust me. You gotta listen to me because I'm gonna save you from getting a headache. Okay? When I see American citizens getting detained by ICE officers, then you know that there's a problem, right? Especially when the ICE officer won't let the American citizen identify him or herself until they get down to ICE detention centers or whatever. That's just ridiculous. And lawsuits are going to fly. Okay? But like I said, in the United States, we have elections. Elections have consequences. Presidents come and go. Members of Congress come and go most of the time. Senators come and go. So just wait it out. Right now, okay, it's anti-immigrant. We don't like people from Venezuela. Why is that? Venezuelans are the most patriotic people for the United States on the planet. There's just a few that are bad apples, okay? But they get screened out very easily. So just elections, just wait them out. Elections. January 14th, Corinne and I will celebrate our second wedding anniversary. On January 3rd, we celebrated Karina's second anniversary in America. She's now into her third year. We look forward to getting her 10-year green card adjudicated. It may take about a year and a half. There's a long waiting list for the 10-year green cards. And, there's always a solution to everything so long as you qualify for the benefit and you're not a problem to the country. Now, if you're a green card holder and you got a criminal record, you've done, stupid things, especially, if with drug involvement or stealing or fraud, then you're not going to get your 10-year green card. They're going to start doing biometrics on everybody every 5 years. Mandatory biometrics every 5 years. So what would be the best way to get away from a biometrics every 5 years? Become a U.S. citizen, right? That's what I'm thinking. Apply for citizenship. If you're a beneficiary from a foreign country that's entered the United States and you are married to a U.S. citizen, you are eligible to apply for U.S. citizenship 36 months from the issue date of your 2-year green card. So you look at your 2-year green card, you look at the issue date, you add 36 months to that, and that's when you can qualify for U.S. citizenship. Okay, beloved, for my fiance, tax returns, tax transcripts. How many years ago should she send me along the documents my petitioner is to send me? 3 years. The latest one, minus 2 years. Now, for her, she's going to be filing her 2025 taxes probably by March or April. So she's not going to be able to get a tax transcript because it takes 6-7 months for the IRS to create a tax transcript. So She wants to file her 2025 tax return by April 15th, the cutoff. Get the 1040, get a copy of it, stamp copy on it, get the W-2s, and all of the financial documents, the bank statements for the last 12 months, pay stubs, 6 months worth of pay stubs, a letter from her boss saying where she works, how much money she makes, how long she's been at the company. She needs to fill out USCIS form I-134, which is the Declaration of Financial Support. She must sign the original I-134 and FedEx it to you, or DHL it to you, or UPS it to you, okay? So she's going to need 3 years worth of tax returns for the green card interview at the embassy. They may only look at the last year. They may not look at anything at all. But you got to have them with you just in case. But you're probably not going to be able to get the 2025 tax transcripts, but you're going to definitely need the 2025 IRS Form 1040 plus her W-2s, etc. Okay? But she can get the tax transcripts for 2023 and 2024. Okay? She can call the IRS and they will send it to her in about 5 to 6 days. Karina and I filed a joint tax return in 2024. In January of 2024, we filed a joint tax return. Okay? I got the tax transcript in July or August. It took 6-7 months for them to create a tax transcript. So I've got my 1040, our joint tax return, our 1040, and our tax transcripts. And then we're going to file a joint tax return here probably in March of this year. In a couple of months, we'll file our taxes. But I'm probably not going to be able to get the tax transcripts. So I'm going to file the tax return with Karina. I'll get a copy of the 1040 and her W-2 and my 1099s and bank statements, etc. All that's going to go in her 10-year green card application, but not the tax transcripts because the IRS wouldn't have created a tax transcript by the time we file for the 10-year green card. So I'm going to write a letter of explanation. Dear USCIS, adjudicator, whatever you want to say, here is our Karina and I, here's our joint tax return for 2025, but we are, as of yet, unable to get the tax transcript because the IRS has not produced it yet. We will be more than happy to send it to you once it gets created. Do you see how that works? Okay? Did I answer your question? Did that help you? Did I answer your question? You can do this, all right? And if there is something that you want to explain to immigration, you can explain it to them on the back of the I-129F. You got space for extra information. On the 485, at the back of the I-485, there's a page where you can add extra information if you want to add stuff, explain stuff, okay? On when you file for the I-751 has it. There's always a spot where you can give an explanation. Beloved, yes, sir, I am good with your answer, sir. Well, that's good. So I'll give you a Mountain Dew salute. Look at that. There we go. A Mountain Dew salute. You got it. Don't stress this process. Abduli Jallo. Hello, Diego. Greetings to you all watching from Florida, West Palm Beach. Well, welcome, Abduli, from West Palm Beach. That's on the West Coast in South Florida. I bet it's beautiful weather down there today. I bet it was nice and sunny, nice and warm. People were on the beach. People were eating Cuban food and Venezuelan food, Colombian food down there in South Florida. Lots of good food down there. And Karina and I were going on vacation in May. So we're going to be traveling to lots of different states. Okay, we're not just going to be in Florida. We're going to go different places. And I'm going to make videos in those places. And if you are a member of this channel, you will get to see those vacation videos. Okay, they're going to be private for members only. We keep on, we're on YouTube. We're public all around the world. Everybody from different countries can see what we're doing. But the members are going to get the private videos. West Palm Beach, Karina and I, we drove through West Palm Beach when I brought Karina to the United States from Bogota, Colombia. I rented a Jeep Cherokee and we drove through West Palm Beach on the way up to here, because we live in the panhandle of Florida, close to Georgia, Alabama border. And we have seasons up here. It gets cold in the wintertime and it gets hot in the summertime. But I think it stays pretty much warm all year round where you're at down there in West Palm. I think it stays warm all year round, right? So that's the benefit of living in South Florida. Abdulli, am an active member. I have been following this channel since 2022. You were in Dubai. I came through K1 visa. There you go. So you've been watching the channel since 2022. That was it when I started it up in Colombia. Because I lived in Colombia basically the entire year of 2022. I was living in Colombia. 10 months, basically 10 months, 10 and a half months of 2022. I was with Karina in Colombia because we were waiting for her K1 visa to get adjudicated. And it was at the tail end of COVID. So all the immigration officers were, in short staff, short-handed. All the embassies around the world were short-handed. So I just got on a plane and got a visa to live in Colombia for a year. Beloved, West Palm Beach on vacation. That sounds so good. Yeah, West Palm Beach is a great place for a vacation. So is Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Key West, those cities there. Now, St. Augustine is down in that neck of the woods. That's the oldest settlement in the United States. St. Augustine was created by the Spanish, and back in the 1500s. Florida didn't even exist back then. So it's a very historical part of Florida, very warm, and there's plenty to do down there. And I think the cruise liners, there's a lot of cruise boats, cruise ships that leave out of Fort Lauderdale. So if you want to go on a cruise somewhere, they leave out of Fort Lauderdale, they leave out of Mobile, Alabama, they leave out of New Orleans, I believe Miami too. So, there's all kinds of plans you can make. When you come to the United States, though, don't leave. Just focus on your 2-year green card. Focus on your 10-year green card. Don't immediately think, okay, I got my 2-year green card in my hand. Now I want to go back to my country that I started from and go see grandma. I know it's kind of difficult, but don't do that. Once you get to America, stay here till you, in my opinion, you should stay here till you become a citizen. It only takes 3 years, as long as you qualify and stay out, stay within the income requirements and don't get in trouble with local law enforcement. You can get it all done and wrapped up in 3 years, 3.5 years tops. And then you get your passport, U.S. passport. Then you can go visit the countries where your family lives, and you don't have to worry about being, interrogated by the Border Patrol when you come back. You have a U.S. passport, and in the U.S. passport, it's going to say where you were born, but it's okay. You're a U.S. citizen. You get a naturalization certificate. If you need help filling out, the paperwork for a K1 visa, if you need help filling out the paperwork for a 2-year green card or a 10-year green card or a spousal visa, you get my phone number and email address if you sign up as a member. It's $9.99 a month. I mean, that's nothing compared to what an immigration attorney is going to charge you for the same information. So, if you want to be a member, join. Karina and I would love to have you. It's a way to support the channel. Like I'm retired now 3 times. I retired from the Navy. Then I retired from Mercedes-Benz. Then I retired from real estate. Now I'm doing this. So I do this basically just to keep busy and make sure you guys get your green cards and K1s. Mark Lennon. Now, Mark's a member of this channel, so is Fazak. Hello, Diego. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year, Mark. And Mountain Dew salute for the Happy New Year. Very good. It's 2026. And Diego, is Colombia next? Miguel has a question. Now, Colombia, South Carolina nothing's going to happen with Colombia, South Carolina, because you spell Colombia with a U. Okay, now, come on, Miguel. You know that Colombia It's spelled with an O, not with a U. No U in Colombia. I'm messing with you. The people of Colombia, the citizens, I lived in Colombia for 3 years. Let's say round it up. I lived there for 3 years. The citizens of Colombia voted in a communist dictator, Petro, okay, because the guy that was running on the opposing side didn't campaign. He stayed in his house and did nothing to win the election. And Colombians don't like to see lazy people. Petro, who is now the communist president of Colombia, wasn't lazy by any means. He campaigned in the Amazonias, he campaigned in South Colombia, he campaigned in West Colombia, he was campaigning all over Bogota, Barranquilla, Cali, Cartagena, Santa Marta. He was everywhere. So he won with sweet words and a heavy campaign schedule. And now the Colombians are sick and tired of that guy. And I can speak for Colombians. I know lots of Colombians. They don't like Petro. They want him gone and retired. They have an election in Colombia. I believe it's in May. Now, President Trump keeps saying that Petro's next. And Petro responds by saying, well, come and get me. Well, that's stupid right there, because if you say that to Trump, there's a good chance he'll come and get you. But the thing is this, they have an election soon. And then the Colombian people are going to kick him out of office, and they're going to put somebody in the presidency that actually is a friend to the United States. Petro is no friend to the United States. In fact, the president of Colombia did jail time in Bogota prison for whatever. And Petro, the president of Colombia, his son has been indicted or in prison. I don't know for sure completely, but his whole family's corrupt to the freaking hill. But his time is up soon. Trump just has to wait him out, because Colombians do not have a second term opportunity. They only get one chance. So I don't believe Petro's next in Colombia, Miguel. I believe that he's just going to ride out the election. He's going to keep jabbing Trump, and Trump's going to keep jabbing Petro, and then the election's going to, and the Colombian people are going to toss him out of the presidential palace in Simon Bolivar Square in Bogota. LOL, says Mark. Abduli, Mr. Diego, did I need Form I-130 for adjustment of status under K-1 visa? No, you don't. You don't need an I-130 for a K-1 visa adjustment to a 2-year green card. You only file an I-130 if you are already married to a foreign national. If you are an American citizen, let's suppose I flew to Colombia and I married Karina in Colombia. Then I would be filing an I-130 as a spousal visa. But because I am an expert at K-1 visas and green cards and spousal visas, I knew that would be a stupid idea, because it would be a 2-year wait. It's an insane amount of time. So I filed the K-1 and got it all wrapped up, okay, in like 23 months. Still took an insane amount of time, but that's because of COVID. If you come to this country on a K-1 visa, you adjudicate to a green card with a 485, an 864, and a 693. You include your I-94, you get the medical exam done, like I said. You don't include an I-130. A Form I-130 is only used to adjudicate a U.S. citizen who is already married to a foreign national, and you got married in the foreign national's country. Or let me put it this way. Let's suppose you are from the Philippines. You come to the United States on vacation, you marry your American citizen sponsor, and then you fly back to the Philippines. Then your American citizen husband will file a Form I-130 because you're now married. Okay? Let's suppose the American citizen sponsor lives in Georgia, flies to the Philippines, gets married to his beautiful sweetheart in Cebu. He comes back to the United States and then files Form I-130. Okay? That's how it works. But if you're not married, if you're both legally free and able to marry each other, and you want to get married in the United States, you file a K-1 visa. When the K-1 visa gets approved, you fly to America, you get married, then you file for the 2-year green card with the USCIS Form 485, the affidavit of support, the A64, and the medical exam repeated 693, and recertify vaccinations. You got it? Abduli Jallo, do you understand what I just said? Miguel is laughing. Boy, they do not learn. The Colombians elected Petro because he campaigned hard. And he got the votes of people that probably never voted before in their life, like the Amazonians, the indigenous Colombians that live in the jungles. He was everywhere. The guy that was running as his opponent, the conservative, the Republican, I guess you'd call it, he didn't campaign. He was in his house in I believe, in Barranquilla. No, he doesn't live in Barranquilla. He lived in the northern part of Colombia. I can't remember what city. But he passed away anyway. So he was old and too tired to do anything. So he never should have been running for office in the first place, in my opinion. But I was in Colombia when they had the election. And when Petro won the election, all of the stores, the supermarkets, everybody was boarding up their windows with big, thick wooden planks because they were scared that the communists were going to come out and start breaking windows. I'm serious. But nothing happened. It was a very calm, transfer of power from Duque to Petro, and it was very calm, and there was no violence. Okay. But Petro, as soon as he became president, one of the first things he tried to do was stop drilling oil. He wanted to stop selling oil, stop drilling for gas. Colombia's economy runs on oil sales. They got their own oil. Okay? I went to the oil companies in Bogota and spoke to the folks down there, and they were telling me that Petro's a friggin' lunatic. He's crazy. So luckily, the Republican Congress in Colombia blocked Petro from doing any significant amount of damage to the economy of Colombia. And he's just basically had the last 4 years sitting around doing this because the Republican Congress in Bogota has basically blocked Petro's agenda of communism. You cannot run a country with windmills and solar panels. Especially in Bogota, when half the year it's so cloudy, you don't get any sun anyway. Chris, I thought it was at Cuban country. I don't understand. I thought it was at Cuban country. Chris, what do you mean? Abduli Jallo, thanks, Mr. Diego. I understand your point. Appreciate it. I'm glad you got it. If you are in this country and you came in on a K-1 and you're getting ready to file for a 2-year green card, don't fill out Form I-130. It's a waste of time. Immigration's just going to throw it in the freaking shredder. You don't need it. The only time you file a Form I-130 is if you are already married to a foreign national. You married her in Colombia, you married her in the Philippines, or you married her in India, or wherever you got married. Then you file the I-130. And you also file the I-130 if you want to bring your mom to the United States or bring your dad. Chris, or brothers or sisters. Chris, it may be misread the statement. Now listen, communist Cuba, the economy of communist Cuba is in the shambles because of the communists trying to control everything from how many eggs you can have per day to how many pounds of cheese you can have per month. The economy of Cuba is in a shambles, okay? Because communists run Cuba. Cutting off oil from Venezuela to Cuba is going to have an adverse effect on communist Cuba. It's not going to be good. The economy is going to go further down the pipeline into the abyss. But it's not going to collapse entirely because Mexico and Russia still ship oil to Cuba. Mexico ships oil to Cuba. The president of Mexico is a freaking communist. Okay? She's a communist. And the president of Cuba is a communist. So they're kind of buddy-buddy. So they have, they share doctors. Cuba sends doctors to Mexico, and then Mexico sends oil to Cuba. The Russians send oil and diesel to Cuba. So the economy of Cuba is being propped up by Mexico and Russia. If Trump wants to totally decimate the Cuban economy, totally collapse it, he should do what he did to Mexico and Russian oil tankers that he did to Venezuela. And he should put a military blockade around Cuba and tell the Cubans, not the people, the government, you're not getting any more oil from Mexico, and you're not getting any more oil from Russia. It's done. The Cuban economy will collapse just on that. But right now, the communist government of Mexico is propping up. They have taken the place of Venezuela. So when President Trump, bless his heart, comes on the TV and says, well, Cuba's going to fail economically now by itself because we cut off oil from Venezuela. That's not entirely true, because Mexico and Russia are still there in the shadows with the shadow oil tankers propping up the Cuban economy. Now, I spent 20 years in the Navy. I've been engaged in lots of strategic activities in my 20 years, and I've learned a lot in my lifetime. So let's see if President Trump would just be quiet for a day and talk to Secretary of State Rubio and tell Marco Rubio and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, talk to the Secretary of War, redirect half the U.S. Navy fleet that he sent to Venezuela, send it to the Cuban waters, not in Cuban waters, but right on the outside of Cuba, block all the oil from coming into Cuba from Mexico and Russia, and the Cuban economy will collapse on itself. But right now, it's not going to. And Trump should understand that. He needs to start talking to people that know what the heck is going on before he starts running his mouth to the fake news on Air Force One. Trump's doing a fantastic job with illegal immigration, okay? But as soon as he started going after green card holders, then he lost the support of lots of people in this country, American citizens who are voters. Copperhead, we received NOA-2 approval for I-129 K1 visa December 23rd. Can I file my standard tax reduction for 2025? What do you mean? Can you file your standard tax deduction? You got to file your taxes. You got your NOA-2 letter, so you're still single. You haven't got married yet, correct? All you have is your NOA-2 letter. And you're asking me, should I include my 2025 tax return with the coming up impending green card interview, K1 visa interview at the embassy? Is that the question? You don't file a joint tax return with somebody you're not married to, number one. Okay, so yes, you said you don't file a joint tax return, but you can include your tax return for 2025 as the last income. You can use that income for your I-134. So you got the NOA-2 letter. Very good. That's a Mountain Dew salute. You made it to the NOA-2 stage. Very good. So we got to put some MAGA pixie dust all over your K1 visa application as it makes its way to the National Visa Center. Once it gets to the National Visa Center, they'll adjudicate it. They'll do an FBI background check on both you and your fiance, beneficiary. And then your fiance will start prepping for the K1 visa interview at the embassy in whatever country that is. I don't know the country, but you need to be sending her your 2025 tax return, 2024, 2023 tax return, your W-2s, 1099s, bank statements for the last 12 months, pay stubs for 6 months, letter from your boss, unless you are your boss, from where you work, from the Human Resources Department saying this is where you work, this is how long you've been there, this is how much money you make, You have to prove to the consular officer at the K-1 visa interview in the embassy or consulate that your income is sufficient at 100% or greater. When you get to the United States, when she gets to America, then you got to be at 125% plus. If you are right on the line at 125%, get a joint sponsor. Okay, guys, I've been talking for 55 minutes. Did you learn anything new today? Every time I do a live stream, I want to make sure you learn something new. I want to make sure you don't submit some stupid information in your green card application or your K-1 visa application. I don't want you to make stupid mistakes, because any mistake now on an application for a green card or a K-1 visa is going to result in a denial. Immigration is going to send it back to you. Okay? If you want my phone number and my email address so you can call me or text me, join as a member. I think that's where it is, down there. It's $9.99. If you want to be a member, you get my phone number. I don't want to charge you for the membership, but it's the only way I can keep control of who I know has got my phone number, because the phone number and email address is tied to the YouTube channel, and that would be disastrous if somebody was to get that information and use it to hack the channel. Then I'd be having to call YouTube to fix it. Chris, still waiting on 2-year green card, still pending from interview in October. Okay, well, October, November, December, it's January. You need to call the USCIS Service Center where you went for the 2-year green card interview, that service center. You need to call them up, set an appointment, and go in there face to face and ask them for status on your wife's green card. Okay, you can do that. Once that's what I would do. I would be calling up the service center. I would be scheduling an interview with them. Bring all your documents with you: the passport, the NOA-2 letter. Okay. The biometrics letter that you were sent, bring all that with you, and then ask them, what's the status? Beloved, yes, sir, I have learned a lot today. Well, that's good. You get the last word for that. Chris, I don't know what service center it is. Where did you go for the green card interview? So you're still waiting on 2-year green card. So you haven't gone, Chris, you haven't gone to a green card interview. Is that what you're telling me? You haven't gone to a green card interview? I thought you went in New Orleans. So you need to call up the USCIS office in New Orleans, set an appointment, and go. You went, yeah, I figured you went in October, right? And there was an issue. What was an issue with biometrics or something? I can't remember exactly. But you need to call. We went to the USCIS Service Center in New Orleans for Karina's biometrics. We stayed at the Holiday Inn Superdome. We went to a biometrics. Then we explored New Orleans. We went out and walked up and down Bourbon Street. Although we could probably find, some places a little bit more agreeable for families other than Bourbon Street. I don't know. So call New Orleans, call USCIS in New Orleans, set an appointment. You can do it on your phone. You can set an appointment on your phone, and go face to face with immigration and ask them what's going on. And they'll tell you, because you're right there. They go in their computer. They'll go, and they'll say, okay, Chris, boom. Go on your phone and Google USCIS Service Center New Orleans appointment. And then it will step you through it, or you can do it on your desktop computer. But you got to, I don't have the 800 number right in front of me, but the way to solve this problem is to go, if calling them is not going to help, you can write letters, that's not going to help. If it's been this long, set an appointment. And then that way, immigration number one can see you guys are happily married together. You're concerned about her green card. And they will go in their trusted computer and they'll give you an answer. Okay? They will. They'll tell you. Now remember, guys, This process is strict, but it's easy. And immigration officers try to scare you. They try to make you nervous. They try to make you uncomfortable. Not because they don't like you. They got nothing against you personally. They're just trying to make sure the relationship is real. So if you're going to K-1 visa interviews, green card interviews, and the immigration officer's a total jerk, acting like a total jerk, it's Hollywood. They're trying to, get you uncomfortable to see how you react to stress. They want to see how you react with your new husband or wife sitting next to you. Okay? And it's understandable you have to wait a long time for certain things to get done. When you reach the other thing, Chris, listen, Chris, there's two ways you can do this. You can call the USCIS in New Orleans, or you can set the appointment on your phone, go see them, and find out what's going on. Or you can file a federal lawsuit against USCIS, and then a federal judge will take your case out of USCIS hands, and he or she will then take charge of your green card application and adjudicate it for you. You can do it two ways. You can do it, you can sue them, or you can, the best way, I think, the most, respectful way to do it is to set an appointment and go talk to them. And then they'll respect you more for that. And be happy when you go. Don't go in there with a negative, angry attitude. Go in there kind of calm, relaxed, and then explain what's going on. Ask them, what's going on, guys? And they'll tell you. You might get the green card on the way to you in the mail that day, once you leave the immigration office. You could. They could tell you, well, we're going to get it mailed to you. It's going to come to you from Corbin, Kentucky. Well, great, thanks. And then 2 weeks later, you'll have it. Okay? That's what I would do. And so, but if you go to if you set an appointment with USCIS in New Orleans and they give you the freaking runaround and jack you around, then you sue them. And then that takes your case out of immigration hands and puts it in the hands of a federal judge. The federal judge will then look at your case and make a decision. And if you qualify for the benefit, you'll get the green card. Chris, you mean have to go to New Orleans to show up with an appointment? Yes. You went to New Orleans for the green card interview, correct? Is that where you went for your green card interview with your wife, New Orleans? And they're jacking you around since when? Since October? October, November, December, 4 months now? Go back there face to face and ask them for a what's up. Be polite, dress business casual, set an appointment with USCIS in New Orleans. Go in front of the immigration officer and be very nice to him, be very polite and say, look, can you help us out? We want to know the status of my wife's green card. So if they jack you around a second time, sue them. Yeah, this is America, man. And you are entitled to due process under the Constitution. So is your wife. She's entitled to due process. There's people in Washington, D.C. that seem to forget that. They seem to think they can block countries from being adjudicated when they're already in this nation, legally adjudicated and paroled. They forget that we have due process. They're going to find out real soon that we still do. Beloved, waiting for the K1. Oh, you deleted it. Okay. All right, guys. I've been an hour on the live stream. I'll be back on the live stream tomorrow. Tomorrow's what? Wednesday. Tomorrow night, 6 p.m. I'll be here for a live stream with Karina's not too tired. She should be all right by tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out with me today. It's a Tuesday, January 6th, 2026. And it's time for me to go get something to eat. Chris, I'll call tomorrow, explain it to the wife so she will understand it. There you go. You got to make contact with immigration. You got to call them. You can set an appointment. And if they don't help you, if they keep giving you the runaround, take it to federal court. See you guys tomorrow.